Okay, so I've been trying to make my upgrade system for this game for a little bit here, and I think I actually finally have it working. So the way it's gonna work is, I think I mentioned it in the previous video. The way it's gonna work is there's gonna be a shop, and similar to how like in the game down here, there's like this shop. It's supposed to be like a a picnic table kind of thing, picnic bench, and there's towers there. Um, the way the upgrades are going to work on this bench, or maybe another one, maybe it's up here, who knows? There's food items you can buy, and you can drag and drop them and put them into your basket, or you can like put them on a tower. So I'll just show you right now how it looks and how it works. So I'll make this full screen as well. Um, right off the bat, we have a tower here. It's nothing crazy. Um, and here we have like the bottle trap. Ideally, we'd have a basket in the middle. What you'd do is you'd get a food. I'll just spawn one in. This is vinegar. Vinegar deals 2 damage for 3 seconds, so it has like a damage over time effect. So the way this would work is there'd be two types of foods: solid foods and condiments. Solid foods you would put in your picnic basket, and it would have some broad sweeping effect, kind of. Oh, that's unfortunate. Give me a second here. Anyway, it'd have some broad sweeping effect, like all your water towers now do extra damage, or all spawners now spawn enemies slower or faster, things like that. And then a condiment would be placed on a tower, like dumping ketchup or something on on your gun. Uh, and that's kind of how the upgrades are going to work. And I thought I don't want to like have to manually type out each different combination of food and effects because I wanted like certain foods to have multiple effects. So I created a component system, and yeah, this is essentially it. This is a food item, and right now it only has one component associated with it, and it's the vinegar damage over time effect. I also only have one sprite, so this is just what it looks like. So yeah, like right now I can just spawn them in. They're underneath this now, but here's one. It just exists. It's happy. And I can drag it onto a tower, and now it's on there. And now it's on there. And now it's on there. And they have effects. Now, if I was smart and ran this in debug, I could show you actually that it's working. So let me just do this again. Drag and drop a tower, create a food. And before I do that, let me go here, instances. Here's the tower, the gun tower. As you can see, we have damage, grid location, can accept universal, show tower menu, like all this stuff. Nothing that has to do with upgrades. If we go back in, we drag this vinegar onto it. Oh, and it's on there. We pause and go back. You can see a variable showed up. DOT effects, damage over time effects. We go into that. It's an array, and then look at that. Damage, duration, and of course other stuff that's just left there. But it now has damage over time effects on it. Now, I don't have the actual logic within the tower of what to do with those effects, but it's working pretty well, and I kind of want to show how I got this. So, the way this works is we have food items. Um, the object is right here, food item. And in here is actually essentially just the drag and drop logic. So what we needed was a component, the component to the food that lets it do things. So what we have right here, base component. It's just a basic class with a name, a description, an icon, an is universal tag that's like determining is it a solid food or a condiment, and then a value that will be used for when you actually like buy these things. And then core functionality, which is the apply, and play effects. I'm just getting ready later on. And then here is an actual component that can be applied to a food item. And right now I just have the one vinegar. It'll mainly be used for food items, or food towers. Food towers, what am I saying? Water towers, where instead of shooting water, it now shoots vinegar. Um, so we override the name, the description, and the icon. So this is still not an object yet. This thing doesn't exist, but it has all this stuff here. The apply and the play effects still just a stand-in. And then what we do is the food store, or right now my hotkey Control F, creates a food item. And when the food item is created, we grab some components. And that's up here, generate food. So what we do is we have var food components, we have a little array, and then the sprite. The sprite, I'm not entirely sure how I want to do it yet. Right now, I just have the one component, so it's just going to be the first component made. Whatever sprite it has that's the sprite. That is what this thing is. I'm just kind of getting ahead of things here. I wanted to add honey, a range, and a damage thing. Just broad ideas of components that they can have. Right now, in both sides, it's the same component, but we'll generate random stuff. And however many we make, we put that into the food component, and it's created. Now, if we go back to food item, in the create step, components, event data components, simple enough, and then we add tooltip content. That's the little hover. I actually really like this hover tooltip. I kind of want to add that to the towers themselves. Like when you go in the shop and hover over them, it's kind of nice. I think it looks pretty good. But anyway, we do that. We create them here. It's like not create it, but create the tooltip. What's actually creating the components currently is if I just go to my game manager and the debug, we just have an instance create layer, and then in the struct section we just have generate food. We just run that function and we just throw components in the item. I feel like I'm kind of just repeating myself over and over again, but it's fine. I think like 8 people are gonna watch this anyway. But anyway, that's kind of how it works. And then you drag and drop it, put it on a tower. The food item, it has 2 checks when we're applying stuff. We check for a universal thing, which is just going to be the basket. The basket has no logic yet, and it doesn't even really exist in the level. And then check for a tower specific thing. We check for obj solid, which is still my tower parent. I need to rename it to like tower parent, but I haven't done that. So we check for that, and then if it is the component is not universal, then we accept everything. Otherwise, nothing happens. It just sits there. And you can see that when I spawn one in and like try and place it somewhere, nothing happens. But if I add a tower, things happen. Simple as that. And then I can add visual feedback, maybe sounds, and it'll look pretty cool. But essentially, that is the base level of what my upgrade system is going to be. A bit more of how the player is going to interact with them, like how they're going to get them. I'm not sure. I kind of like the idea of a store where they have food items there that they can grab and pay for and apply them as they wish. Or do I want it to be like a time-based thing, like every minute you're presented with 3 options and you can grab one? I don't know. It's rough. It's weird to figure that out yet because I'm still not sure if I want it to be like an endless mode where just ants keep coming and you kind of just gotta race to get everything done, or if it's more wave-based, like between every wave you get a chance to upgrade stuff and place towers. I don't know. But either way, I like this system. I think it's gonna like it's not obviously the most easy to use. Like obviously it would be a lot easier if I just did a JSON file and put this information in there and then we just randomly got a row from the JSON file and put all that in here. It's obviously not like that. If I could do everything in an Excel spreadsheet, that would be cool. And I probably could figure that out. I just don't want to. I actually kind of like this method because overall it's pretty simple, I think. So, yeah, we can just add more components and everything should work. Obviously, for the generate food, we got to do some messing with weights for the random stuff. But I like it. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's about it.